Hey guys, if you're watching this video, you are experiencing life with me, Ayana B, and today we are talking about what happened to reconciliation and love in the movement and why is nobody really acting on it. So guys, if you can't tell by the title, I am speaking out about the movement, the police brutality, the presence of institutionalized discrimination in America. And if I'm talking fast, I'm trying to make sure the video isn't too long, but this is my honest opinion. I am writing from my notebook. I'm reading from my notebook, so let's get into this video. Okay guys, so the first thing is I want to let you guys know where I stand on police brutality, and I think that it is not okay. I do not condone it at all. First of all, I think it's bad that the American government is enabling police brutality by not holding these officers accountable for their actions. It's clear as day. We live in a technological generation, so we see these horrific acts on camera, on video, on social media, but the fact that the American government sees the evidence of a police officer clearly having the intent to brutally annihilate the person but not doing anything about it is problematic, and it's enabling killer cops. It's enabling their behavior by allowing them to continue to do it. Second thing, I feel like it's bad that police officers are going into their job every single day with fear. You know, that's the problem. That's why they keep killing us people of color. That's why they keep killing us black people, is because they walk in, they're scared of us. It's inner racism, it's inner hate that they have towards our people. And being a police officer, you're supposed to protect, you're supposed to serve all. And the fact that you walk in with your job with the hidden agenda of hate and fear against a certain group of people, it's sick. And it's sick that they are going into their jobs and not doing what they're supposed to do. So next, I feel like this brings me to my main point. I feel like, first of all, I just want to say I support the protests and the demonstrations. Let me tell y'all about the protests and demonstrations. I feel like the news is portraying these protests and demonstrations as violent. They're portraying riots as protests. Riots and protests are completely two different things. Protests are a public display of disapproval through marching, protests, boycotts, things like that. But riots is you're displaying your disapproval through violence. And I think that the fact that media is trying to portray these protests as riots or these riots as protests, it's problematic. And I feel like it's trying to discredit the movement in a sense. But in everything that's going on with the movement, I think everybody's forgotten that the goal should be reconciliation. It should be human reconciliation rather than stirring a deep sense of hate and division among us. And what do I mean by this? I feel like the more we protest and the more riots that are happening and more demonstrations, I feel like people are entering with the mentality of screw these cops, no, we hate all these people, we hate white people, we hate, non-people of color, we hate, and there's just a lot of hate going on. And I understand the emotion, I understand the anger, and I understand the pain, because it's hurtful, seeing your people die every single time and nobody's doing anything about it. But I do feel like as this movement continues, the goal should be human reconciliation. The goal should be, even though we're different we're different, we have different ethnic backgrounds, we have different belief system and ideologies, I feel like at the end of this, when justice is demanded and when justice is served, we should be able to sit down and talk to each other and really talk this out about what is the problem in the system and how can we move forward together. But I feel like nobody's willing to do that anymore, because anger is I understand the anger, I validate the anger, I understand it, but I feel like anger is being the main force, anger and pain, and it's blinding us, is blocking us from really pursuing that loving relationship that we can get to. The goal should be reconciliation. The goal should be justice and human reconciliation. And I feel like the more we all the more people say, I hate this group of people, I hate this, I hate that about them, the more we're dividing. And it's a problem that nobody is trying to reconcile and build human relationship again, is because that's just going to create division. And I feel like the more division that's created, it's just going to be a generational thing. And now the hate is just going to continue. So now if we adapt hate and we continue to keep that, and we don't have a goal of reconciling with somebody, then we're going to pass that down to children. We're going to pass that down to, like, we're going to pass that hate down to children, and now they're going to learn that, and it's just going to be it's going to be a continuation of hate in these future generations. So that's why I believe reconciliation, human reconciliation, should be the goal. Which brings me to my next point. I do believe that we should protest and do demonstrations. I am not discrediting those. I do believe they are extremely important, because just as much as we should love, we should also demand for justice. We should also make sure that our voices are being heard. But I do think that redemption, we should allow people to redeem themselves. And I think that if we live in a society where all we do is, all we do is punish and all we do is hate, and we don't allow people to redeem themselves because they are humans, they're not perfect, then it's going to be a real hard society to live in. Because you know what? I feel like racism is wrong, and it's a disease that continues to go throughout America and just over the world. But I do feel like racism is taught. People aren't born racist. Kids aren't born racist. It's an adult disease. Like Ruby Bridges said, it's an adult disease that we teach these younger children. So I feel like just as racism is taught, it can be untaught. But we need to be willing to sit down with those people and to have conversations. Sit down with children. Sit down with people who've adapted racist ideologies and beliefs, and sit down and talk to them and allow them to redeem themselves. Allow them to unlearn things that's been taught to them for generations, for years. Next, I'm telling you guys, like, it's important that we love. It's important that we allow people to redeem themselves. But what does that exactly mean? Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Woo, okay. What does that Woo, y'all, that is not okay. Don't worry, I got the corona or nothing. I hope not. I don't think so. But what does that actually mean? What does loving mean? And I think that loving is just in the Bible. Let's go back to God. Let's go back to God, because I love God. So let's go back to Him. In the Bible, in 1 or 2 Corinthians, it talks about what love embodies, and what are the characteristics of love. And I'm just going to list a few. Love is compassion, love is patience, love is kind, love is forgiveness, love is long-suffering. Love is a lot of things, and I feel like we should embody those as we continue to advocate for justice and advocate for the voice of, underrepresented, marginalized groups of people. I'm so sorry, y'all. Let me just take a sip of this water. Like I was saying, I think, so yeah, we should be compassionate, we should be forgiving, we should be loving, we should embody those characteristics while we're in the movement rather than spreading hate. Because I feel like the more we spread hate, the more we can't expect people to love us, and we can't expect things to change, and we can't if we want to eradicate hate, it's important that we try to stop it with love. You can't cancel hate with hate. It doesn't make sense. You can't cancel hate with hate. You have to cancel hate with love, So this brings me to my last point, and I feel like love means action. I feel like love isn't just saying it. It's not just thinking about it. Love is action. And I feel like it's really problematic that there is an absence of action in the movement. Like, I see so many people in the world just watching I see so many people in the world watching the racism and the institutionalized discrimination and police brutality happening on TV, but all they can do is say, wow, that's crazy, and they're not doing anything about it. So I think that there needs to be more action. There needs to be a presence of action. If there's injustice somewhere, we shouldn't just fight for it because it directly impacts us. We should be fighting for justice for all groups of people, regardless of what they believe in, regardless of what they look like, regardless of their differences, and regardless if they're not similar to us. We should be advocating. So the fact that nobody is doing anything, and the fact there are so many bystanders in the movement, is problematic, and it's not okay. And I feel like there's so many ways to do things in the movement. There's so many petitions that are going on where you petition and you sign your name, and basically there's petitions that say, hey, this killer cop should be getting justice and going to jail, and you can sign that petition to support it. And I'll put some petitions and links in the description box about, you could write to assembly members and your legislative representative on what you think they should do to end police brutality. There's so many things you can do, but it's more like, if you're going to complain about it, if you're going to complain about police brutality and, you know, racism and institutionalized discrimination, but you're not doing anything to solve it, you're part of the problem. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to put things in the description box so I can actually give you guys a chance to do something. I got some things coming up to, you know, contribute to the movement, but that is another video for another time. So guys, that is it. If you have watched this video, you have experienced life with me, Ayana B, and thank you for watching. Guys, if you actually liked what I was saying in this video, and if you just liked me and the vibe I had, go ahead and actually give this video a big thumbs up. If you feel like you want to just have a dialogue with me, not only go down in the comment section, but email me at ytlifewithayanaB@gmail.com and email me for advice or things like that. And if you just feel like you want to see more of me all the time and you think I'm dope, subscribe, hit that bell button, and that is it. If you have watched this video, you have experienced life with me, Ayana B, and I'll see you in the next video.